Hey, what's up and welcome to a new video. Path of Exile 3.20. Soon we will get some news from GGG and the marketing team about the upcoming expansion. And today I want to talk about more like what I think we can expect, at least I'm expecting from 3.20, and why I think 3.20 is one of the most important releases of the content releases, maybe like forever. Why it is so important for us as a community to be happy with 3.20. But yeah, let's first just see what is the situation. We got a post from GGG saying that starting early next week, we will start to get some balance manifestos one by one, the different topics. Usually at least a day between each manifesto to make time for processing the information so we can make videos, we can talk about this, which is pretty good in my opinion. So each manifesto will cover one topic. It means there is a topic. This is the idea, what to expect. For example, they want to plan to cover jewels and element mitigation, curses, and so on, right? And between these days, there is one day off, so we can talk about it. For example, yeah, I think that's a great idea to really see what they're doing in the game. In the past, it was a problem for a lot of people. We get information from GGG, and then we cannot really work with the information. We got the information, but there is a lot of information, especially in the manifesto, that are very hard to understand, and you cannot process the information. So now you have a bit time, and that's pretty good. And I think maybe between these days there will, for example, if people don't understand what the manifesto means, some topics in the manifesto, they will maybe talk with us about the topic. So this is maybe the one day off in between. All right. So there is nothing more, especially than we will get news soon. But what I think is, after such a disappointment from 3.19, 3.18, 3.17, 3.16, I think it was Scourge League, I think since 3.15, all the content updates, the big content updates, were very unpleasant, and mostly I think with negative feedback and with negative emotions behind the content we got. And what I think the most positive is the Atlas changes, the new Atlas progression, stuff like this. They're very good. A lot of stuff from the updates are also pretty good. Some quality of life changes, but since 3.15, it's more negative. The content is against the people. It's more the vision, like the famous vision. But what I think with 3.20 is going to be that 3.20 needs to deliver. I think there are more reasons for that 3.20 has to be the best content update Path of Exile will see, and GGG have to bring. So yeah, we will see about that, but I think that's going to be the best update we will see. Why? So one thing is that since 3.15, it's mostly very negative, and they always back that up with the vision, right? We have to make these bad changes, and it's all about the vision from the dev team or the company, the vision that the game has to be like this. But the other side is that the community doesn't want these changes, basically doesn't want these changes. We see that currently in the player drops, and we've seen that also from the last league. A lot of players drop the game. Sure, there are always new players coming to Path of Exile because of the marketing, the PR, they're seeing streamers, YouTube and stuff like this. But what is not really good is that the people that started playing Path of Exile and they want to play Path of Exile stopped playing Path of Exile. It's not because they cannot play, because they don't want to play because of these changes. It's not because there is like other game out there they want to play, right? For me, example, 3.19, I think I've made one good character and that's it. Basically going through the acts like level 80 or something, and then I dropped the league, and I was just disappointed from 3.19, so I stopped playing. So what we have to see is 3.20 to be the best league ever. And in my opinion, this is going to be the case, because there is one thing I think that business-wise, people maybe maybe don't see, or maybe it's just for me speculation, sure, but I think if we look at, sorry for the flashbang, if we look, for example, in the news and we see that Tencent, which is the biggest shareholder of Grinding Gear Games, for example, lost over 650 billion in market value. I mean, the company is losing money and hit a 5-year low. Right? Okay, there's the Tencent losing money, just like a lot of companies right now on the stock market. Okay, but they're losing money. And if you compare that to Path of Exile, and like I said, in 3.19, people are leaving the game, and we have seen the statistic, we have seen the data, how many people are leaving or are basically playing 3.19 to the previous leagues. You can clearly see that there is a downward from the player base, right? They're leaving the game. And what I think is very dangerous is 3.19 did not really had competition. So we had leagues with competition. They were basically better than 3.19 without competition. And if we get Diablo 4, for example, which is a long time to get there, but for example, if Diablo comes out and there's GGG is still sticking with Division, I think it looks bad, and they will not have fans playing Path of Exile. I mean, I love Path of Exile. It's my favorite game. But if Diablo is good and Path of Exile is sticking with Division, is always working against the community, which was the case since 3.15, it doesn't look good for Path of Exile. So what I want to say is Tencent is the shareholder from Grinding Gear Games. It holds, I think now it's even more, it's holding 86%. So basically it owns Path of Exile. And from another statement from Chris Wilson, the question was here from a Reddit post when Tencent has invested in Grinding Gear Games. It was 4 years ago, and there was a word here. Let me see. Will Tencent try to change Path of Exile? So the question is, basically, if Tencent owns Path of Exile and they see that the money is not flowing, they will say, okay, you know what? Let's change the game. And this is what people ask. Will Tencent try to change the game in any way to make it more pay to win or whatever? And he said, no. We spoke to CEO of the company of Tencent that has invested in, and here is the important part, and have been assured that Tencent has never tried to interfere with game design or operation outside of China. And the thing here is that they never tried to interfere. So from my understanding, if I'm looking as a business-wise, they have never tried, but they have never tried because the game worked good. And 4 years ago, the game was Path of Exile was player base wise wasn't bad, and the growth was pretty good. And what we now see with 3.19 is that the player base is going down, at least concurrent players. compared to the other leagues is going down. And I mean, I don't know how much money they make with the leagues 3.19, but I can assume again that they are not doing well business wise if the player base is also going down. But yeah, that's the thing. And I think also that Tencent now wants to see money, because after a few leaks, maybe they said, hey, you know what, 3.18 wasn't good. Okay, we trust you for 3.19. Let's bring it back. Positive player base. People stop quitting. People stop hating the game, negative feedback and stuff like this. And that did not happen. 3.19 was a terrible league. It was one of the worst leagues I have seen. And I played since a few years. So I think 3.20 has to be good, and I also believe that Tencent is standing behind the business and not the dev team and division. I think they stand behind the business and they say, hey, you know what, listen to the community, or at least make the game again more profitable, or somehow, you know, they don't want the negative feedback. Maybe, you know, it's a possibility here that they, in the background, they are talking business wise that there should be more positive feedback from the community. And the only thing that make the game positive is to listen to a community and stop listening or look at your stupid, excuse me to say that, but the vision is such a bullshit. Stop, look at the vision and listen to a community, because we are the people that are playing, not the devs. The devs are not playing the game. So yeah, the thing is that this, I think, could be very interesting for 3.20. Physiologically, I think 3.20 has to be also good. So this is my second part of the video. That one, business wise, like I said, Tencent and shares and whatever has to grow, and they want to see money. And the other thing is that 3.20 has to be good, because the other leagues were so bad that it can damage the reputation of Path of Exile. Because if 3.20 sucks and is like Lake of Calandra, for example, player base wise and stuff like that, it's a boring league, terrible league, negative feedback, only trash talk in the internet, then I think not even PoE 2 is going to rescue GGG. It sounds brutal, but I think honestly, if people stop playing Path of Exile and their favorite streamers are not playing, it's going to be a very generic game. And so this is why I think 3.20 has to give us something big and not just nerfs. Something big, and I think it's going to be big, because business-wise it has to be, and also otherwise, if 3.20 sucks, everyone is like, why should I play PoE 2? Because PoE 2 is not a new game, it's the same game. Yeah, maybe a different story, lore. No one plays Path of Exile for the lore or the story. So this is why 3.20 has to be good to even survive PoE 2. Yeah, PoE 2 will not be good if the other league sucks. So if the previous league sucks, PoE 2 is going to be bad, because PoE 2 is not a new game. PoE 2 is the same game. So yeah, and I'm very positive. Last league I was very positive, because for me, I don't understand why they stick with the stupid vision. You see what problems you have with the vision. So I think 3.20 is going to be good. It's a long enough video, but I wanted to talk about that because I think it has to be good. 3.20, please be good, and not only on the paper. This is also one thing I hate in Path of Exile or GGG communication. They always with their marketing team give us something on the paper that says, oh, this is going to be good. And then if you play the game, there are backdoor nerfs. That just doesn't work. Even honestly, even if the manifestos they want to post are somehow decent, I would not 100% trust that, because they really lost our they lost our like faith to be good again. Like the updates are going to be good. The respect. So they made some disrespect the last league with all these backdoor changes, all these big changes they did not announce. They thought, oh, what up? Let's change that. They are too stupid. They will not understand that. Hopefully this is not going to be again the case, because I don't know how many times you can make these mistakes, honestly. And I think this is now on a very thin ice. 3.20 has to be a solid ice to bring back the solid GGG communication with the player base, not against the player base. Alright, long enough video. Give me a thumbs up if you also enjoy that, and maybe if you also agree. If you don't agree, post it on the comment and subscribe to the video, and see you in the next one. Bye.